Hey guys, welcome to quest number 3 of the Valiant EQ. This time around, you are going to bring all of your mutant champions, preferably mutant champions that have buffs on them, because the buffs will help you prolong the unblockable buffs for 3 seconds plus 2 seconds for each buff on the attacker to a max duration of 9 seconds with the node antagonistic. Now once you have that unblockable, with Reckless Abandon, each time a mutant attacker hits the defender with an unblockable attack, the attacker gains an indefinite fury, increasing the damage rating by 35%, and you can stack it maximum for 10 times, so your total damage can be increased by 350%. But remember, there is roll with the punches, so every time every time the defender will receive a stun debuff, the next duration of the stun is reduced by 20% unless you have an active buff on your attacker. So your mutant champions with armor ups and prowesses will be amazing. There's also Achilles heel, so the defender will take 20% reduced damage from all sources, except special attacks, heavy attacks, and unblockable attacks. And finally, for the first 7 to 8 fights, there is right back at it, so when the defender is knocked down by a heavy or a special attack, they will become debuff immune for 4 seconds. So having the nodes out of the way, there are some annoying fights in the path, but for the most part the fights are okay, and you have a lot of bleed champions in the mutant class, so a lot of them can be used sparingly throughout this Crucible style gauntlet. So for example, your Wolvie, your X-23, your Weapon X, Old Man Logan, Deathpool, all of these champions have regen that you can use to heal up your champion, because the biggest challenge that usually comes along with this kind of content is when you will change your champion at the selector, your health is not your health is carried forward as you go into it, so you're not healed fully with the next fight. So moving on, we are going to go against a Groot. Now Groot is going to be annoying fight number 1. I know, right? Because you will say why Groot is annoying, because there are two things. Groot shrugs off the debuffs faster, and couple that with roll with the punches. If you don't bring in a champion that has any kind of buff, the stun duration will be reduced, so you really need a champion that has buffs. Otherwise he will come mostly like immune to any kind of stun with the roll with the punches if you parry him a lot, so that is going to be a problem. Now I'm going to use the Cyclops Blue, and luckily I don't need to worry because there is always an active buff on him that is going to be a true strike. And then once I have my special attacks ready, I'm going to throw that out, and with all of those stacking power, efficiency, and prowess, just like that, I am able to take out Groot. So pretty much same for the whole path. I have enough mutant champions from my 7-star that I'm going to use them. But the funny part is I don't have the mutant champions that have heals on them. That on high levels, I only have 6-star rank 3s of both X-23 and Wolvie. But anyway, I'm going to use them for 2 fights. But this one is going to be against a beast. I'm using a Storm Pyramid X 7-star rank 1 and just trying to build up to my SP2, waiting for him to throw that out. And we are ready to knock him down, get the unblockable, and throw my big SP2 while gaining fury in the meanwhile and doing quite a bit of damage to beast. What I like to do with these quests is I like to build up to my specials, use a heavy attack, and as soon as I go unblockable, I can trigger my special. It's going to be unblockable, and those are going to be confirm hits, and I can also gain furies in the meanwhile. So that's how I like to do, but you can always just go for the basic attacks. It's up to you. Next up is going to be a Magneto. Now make sure that you bring in a good champion against Magneto, because there are quite a bit of metal champions in the mutant class, so try to avoid them and bring champions that are non-metal and you should be good. Also, Magneto's Sig ability caps the damage you can do in one go to him, so just be wary about that. I just brought in a Storm, waiting out for the SP2 so I can deal some huge damage with all of those prowesses. Don't need to worry about the unblockable because I can easily do all of the knockdown and have an unblockable on me for more than 9 seconds, and then the special attacks them enough to take out Magneto very quickly. Now, the next two fights are going to prompt you to bring bleed champions. With Hulk Immortal, you will need a bleed champion. So, this is annoying fight number 2 or number 3, any one of them. And you will need a bleed champion here because you want to make sure that he does not gain more of his gamma charges. You would want to bring him down to 0 HP before he gets to 15 of those charges. So, the best way is to bring in bleed champions. As long as the bleed is applied, he does not gain those charges. So, you have to play with a bleed champion here. So unfortunately, all the bleed champions that I have in my mutant class are all very low rank. So my Wolverine is only 6-star rank 3, and then the next fight I'm going to take is going to be with a X-23, and she's also very low rank. But that's okay. The Furies will help you out. They will help you gain all of that extra damage, and you sure are able to take out Hulk Immortal. And also the next fight, remember, you can dex both of his specials. Both of them are easy to evade, but I would rather keep him to an SP1, and that should give you easy openings to go attack Hulk Immortal. Now, here is another example of needing a bleed champion. Again, I'm going to give you more options that you can use. Now we are going against an invisible woman, and whenever you apply a bleed, you can run out the invisibility on invisible woman. So I'm just going to use that to my advantage, waiting for the region buff, and then throwing a heavy attack because that will give me a longer duration on the unblockable, and with the longer duration I can land more attacks on the opponent and deal more damage and get more of those furies and build up to my 350% cap quite easily. So just again, I'm going to use a heavy attack, wait for the invisibility to go away, and now she can throw an SP2. I already have 7 of those furies. Still gonna knock down and then break her block and get to 10 of those furies. Made a mistake there, but I was lucky I didn't get caught. And just like that, she is down to 50%. Just gonna throw another special 1 here and deals a special 2 here and deal some damage and bring her down quite fast. To be honest, Wolverine X-23 has more damage output than Regen, which works really well for this fight along with the bleeds. So here we are, just waiting for her to go invisible so I can dash back, and now I can safely throw an SP2 that's going to deal some damage, and before we know it, invisible woman is down. And remember, this is a 6-star rank 3 X-23 only. If you had like a 7-star, she would be nuts. Now, Magneto is also part of the mutants, and he also has buffs on him. Every time you will charge a heavy, he will get an unstoppable. So you will never run the risk of reducing your stun durations with roll with the punches, because every heavy attack there is going to be an extra buff, and you will get prolonged kind of unblockables on you, and while you hit during that unblockable, you will be easily building up your fury. So already we have 10 of those. Let's throw an SP2 out after this one. Boom, look at that, down 20%, and we're going to finish it off with an SP1, and before you know it, Guillotine is down. Next up is going to be a Thor Ragnarok. Now, I do not know how to play with Onslaught because I recently got him and took him to an SP3. All I know, you throw an SP2 and you try to pause the degen damage, but I think I fail miserably here and I eat a lot of specials. And just being generally impatient to throw that special attacks out faster and do more damage. But I think I learned my lesson after this fight. Look at that. Just ate a stun right on my face. So here we are. SP2, and before my animation is done, it's already gone. Like, what did I do wrong there? But that's okay. I will learn and I will learn how to play Onslaught, and then this fights will get better. But again, just simply bring in Onslaught, just play like a normal style, and the damage should be enough to take out Thor. Thor is basically a nothing defender. Just make sure that you dex the special attacks and not get stunned, and you should be able to get through this fight relatively easy, and not like me who's taking a lot of hits and playing really bad. But yeah, here we are. Just an extended pause, wait for the SP2, and then we're gonna throw our own SP2 out on the heavy attack. There we go. That will do some good damage. It's also paused, and followed by an SP1, and Thor is down, good to go on the next fight. Almost halfway through. Now the next one is going to be Yellow Jacket. Now I'm just going to use a Colossus here. Colossus already has a lot of those armor ups, so you can just literally parry and heavy and get that unblockable and not worry about Yellow Jacket, and just during your unblockable land all the attacks you can on Colossus, so you can gain all of those furies. And once you have all of 10 of those furies, you can throw that SP2 and look at that damage. Just be careful about the SP1. Don't get clipped by it because of the power stings. Then you will have to use a special attack to remove it, or you have to wait out the cooldown, at which point you might be stunned. So just be wary about that. But other than that, you bring in the right champion like a 7-star and they can be super efficient. I got clipped here in the end, but luckily there was only 6% health remaining on Yellow Jacket and I was able to punch him out. So now I did lose a lot of health there, so I just saw that there's going to be Falcon, so I brought in my Mr. Sinister because I want to heal. And secondly, just like in the last quest, we had Silver Surfer that applies a lot of non-damaging debuffs. So also does Falcon Joaquin Torres. When he throws that special one, he's going to apply a slow on you. Then there's also going to be physical vulnerability. So there's going to be a lot of debuffs that are just non-damaging. And because I run Willpower 3x3, those are going to help me heal up to 100% in no time. Now, once that is done, my next focus shifts on Hawkeye Phoenix to apply all of those degens and take him out. So I use a heavy attack simply to knock him down and then hit him while unblockable to gain those furies. And while I have enough of them, now I can just simply parry and use my heavy and extend my stun. And as soon as I have my SP1, I can throw that and deal that bit of damage and take him out quite easily in the end. Not really a difficult fight. Make sure that you always keep him to an SP1 and you should be able to get through it without any problems. And just like that, he is down. And now we have the reworked Phoenix. So I'm just going to bring in a Bishop. Just simply knock him down and hit her during the unblockable, and you can slowly gain your furies. To be honest, I haven't faced her much. I'm not sure what are the changes on her. I like the new character model, so yeah, that's pretty much about it. All I was trying to do is to get those prowesses and then throw like a big SP2 so I can deal that damage. And one more SP2 should do the trick. I know there's a change in her region or something, but I haven't had the time to check out the buffs yet. But yeah, facing against her, all I thought was to just build up to an SP2, have like 20 to 30 prowesses, and that should be enough to kind of like do enough damage to take out Phoenix. Just ate 2 special ones right on the face, but they didn't do any damage. So now trying to bait out the SP2 here, and she is being super annoying, not throwing it out, but eventually she will does. And we go back in again, building up to an SP2. That was a strategy right there. And Just before we know it, she is gonna die, and boom. Now, moving on to the final stretch, we are at Hawkeye. I'm just going to use a sunspot for a faster fight. Again, not really a difficult one. The whole mutant path is not really difficult, to be honest. You have a lot of region champions that you don't really need. I'm not using any boost or anything, but it's just like a fun path. So I'm just building up to my SP2 as quick as possible. So just giving him around 15 of those incinerates and then using my heavy attack to kind of like gain power. And as soon as I have my SP2, there's a boom, big 250,000 crit, and he is dead. Now, Iceman is really fun on this path. All you need to do, because there's already a armor buff on you, so you can just simply parry and heavy without worrying about like a shortened duration of stun, and then you get that unblockable. You can throw your SP1s also, and then you can also use your basic attacks. Iceman is really fun for this set of nodes because with his SP1, he applies all of those cold snap, and when you use a heavy to knock him down, all of that cold snap is going to explode and do quite a bit of damage. And you can also see that it's amplified by the Fury. So a pretty quick fight using an Iceman. And the final fight is going to be against a Hulk Ragnarok. Now, be very careful to not use a champion that has some kind of passive damage that is going to be annoying. I came one time here and I tried to use Dust against him. He wasn't really good to me and I took a lot of damage. Now, with Gambit, is very simple. Dash back and get all of your charges. Then use an heavy attack to convert those. Those charges into prowess, and once you have that, just spam your specials and you're good. And because the unblockable would be so long, it would be very easy for you to gain all of those furies. And once you're done, if the defender is not down, then rinse and repeat that. We have 9 charges ready. This is going to be 10th one, and heavy attack, and we have unblockable into an SP1, and before you know it, Hulk Ragnarok is down. Now the boss is going to be a Taskmaster. You can use any champion, any class champion you want. Just make sure do not use a champion that has any kind of debuffs or that has too many debuffs, because when Taskmaster will go immune to all of them, for every debuff he's going to be immune to, he's going to gain a burst of power, and it's very easy for him to go to an SP3. And with all of those furies that he's going to have, he's going to really deal some crazy damage. SP1, SP2 both are easily evadable, so you should be good. I'm gonna try to do a bit of damage here, but I think I end up pushing him to an SP3 and I die in the process. But the fight is pretty simple and straightforward. Just bring in a champion that does not apply too many debuffs, evade the specials until he gets the immunity to all debuffs and he starts gaining power, and you should be okay. I unfortunately die here, but I end up finishing the fight.